All right, you ever wonder what a professional captain's shop looks like? We'll get a load of this. That's pretty cool, right? Got some kid rods, all that stuff. Well, hold on to your hat. This is Captain Scott's place. Captain Scott, no. Oh, these are some pretty badass fly rods, yeah? Well, he's probably going to sell those. That's how many he's got. And here comes some other stuff that he's rigging up right now. And then, of course, we got these are his regular rods for clients and his workshop, all that stuff. Look at all the lures. And hey, there's some PT7s. We might use those for the casting contest at the Bite Me Feeding Frenzy. All this good stuff over here. Oh, wait, look at all this. It's about 30 rods right there that I don't know what the hell he's going to do with. Let's go ask Captain Scott about this. All right, Scott, we're not talking a few rods here, but I had a great question for you because we talk on the podcast about what you should look for, how you should test a rod. Like, you're at the store, you're at FTU, you're getting your sawgrass, whatever it may be, and people always do the same thing and show me what they always do. All right, show me what everybody, including you and me, who know better.
We're gonna look at a rod. Let's see what.
That's the first thing we all do, right there.
Let me see this one.
Yeah. Let's see if I like this one.
This one's a little stiffer. I like it. That's got a little more whip to it. Yeah, that's what everybody does.
Now we all know better. You and I do the same thing, and we know better.
Yeah, I mean, you can't help it. You pick up a rod, the first thing you do is you kind of make a little cast.
Yeah.
But
what should you do?
Well, I don't like to do it on the concrete too much.
Yeah.
Like right here on the grass. Most of the stores,
have a soft spot.
Floors.
Yeah.
But you can put the rod tip down, kind of let it sit a little bit, and you kind of get a little idea of the bend.
Now explain why. Yeah.
And then that kind of tells you how much flex it has and where.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can kind of push down on it a little bit, and you can get a little more feel for where it's going to bend and how much backbone it has.
And what are you learning here?
I want a rod that's got backbone down in here to be able to handle a fish, to be able to control the fish around.
So that's a good, on this rod, it's about 3.5 feet.
Yeah, roughly half of it
is
pretty daggum stiff.
Yeah.
This is a light action rod.
Yeah.
This is a sawgrass, one I just picked up from Collins when I was up there last week on the podcast. And the other thing you can do, if you don't want to put it on the floor, you can kind of put your hand on it and then flex it with the other hand at the rod, and you can kind of get an idea of where it bends. You can see on this one, it's
right in there.
You've got your bend right in here, and then back here. This is where you fight a fish.
Mm-hmm.
When you've got it hooked up, you can put a lot of pressure on a fish right
Doesn't really bend.
I'm putting a lot of pressure on that.
That's a good rod right there.
And that, like I said, that's a light action rod.
Yeah.
Light action being the tip, where we shake.
Yeah.
You get that light action feel.
Now take us a few steps out there since we're on this before we get to the fly rods, because I know there might be some subtle differences with the fly rods. We've also tried to talk about how we fight fish. And what's the first thing everybody always does when they're fighting a fish? Straight up, baby.
Being up like this. It looks good. It's sexy.
It's a good picture.
Yeah, it's a really good picture. You got everything lined up. What you want to do is fight them down low.
Yeah.
The fish is going this way. You want to pull it this way. He takes off, goes that way. You want to turn it back the other way.
Yeah.
And what I like to do,
put it right on your forearm.
I put the butt on my forearm. It gives me that extra leverage. When he's pulling down that way, it's not all on my wrist.
Yeah.
It's the butt of the rod is hitting here, and my hand is just holding the rod.
And it improves the number of times you might not lose a fish.
Yeah, I
because you're going counter. Explain what why.
Counter,
yeah.
Whichever way the fish is going, he's out here and he's running across this way. I'm gonna lay it in this way. If he turns and he goes back the other way, I'm gonna put it over here. Now he's pulling this way.
Yeah.
So you've always got a pull away from the direction that the fish is going.
Yeah.
It does two things. It shortens the fight. It tires them out quicker when you're trying to pull them back from where they're trying to go.
Yeah.
And then it also just keeps
from losing it. Yeah.
Keeps that hook pinned in there.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about. I see it every day on boat. People are trying to fight a fish and they're doing this.
Yeah.
And they're right here. And
It's a lot of
you
pressure.
don't have that much.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be strong there,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
but that's a lever point.
Use leverage.
And why not put it there?
Yeah.
And lock it in, and now you can really get on it.
All right, now let's get to, I know it's very subtle differences, but let's say you're buying a fly rod now. And so you're buying a fly rod. You showed us some of the things that people should look at when they're purchasing a regular conventional rod.
Yeah.
Is there anything different?
Well, you just got to know the rods. Fly rods more than any, you need to go out and cast them. You need to go to a place like Fish and Tackle Unlimited that's got a whole bunch of different fly rods, and then just walk outside and cast.
Yeah.
You need to know basically what weight rod you're doing for what you're fishing for. Trout and red, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
8 is kind of the standard. I like a 7 or 8 most of the time. This is a bigger rod. This is an 11 or a 12, I believe. This is more of a tarpon rod.
Yeah, an offshore.
Yeah. I was out there playing with jacks yesterday, and the wind ran me off the putter today, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm
Working.
I came in here and I'm cleaning everything up.
Yeah.
That shop's a mess from me building the house.
Yeah.
And you just showed it to the world.
That's all right.
how messy
We'll show the
everything is.
after. We'll show the after video in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. But what you just want to be able to get out there with somebody like Kerry Marcus, you know, and start casting it just in the parking lot. They all have demo rods. They can all rig one up for you, and you get out there and see if it's right for you.
And what are you looking for?
Everybody has a different casting stroke. You know, some people cast much faster. They have a faster swing.
Yeah.
Some like a little slower rod.
Yeah.
And you'll know pretty quick whether or not that rod feels right.
Well, you're going to have to show us the proper way, the way you would teach someone. No, you're not going to have to cast. Just show us the motion. Let's show us the motion out here. What people, some of the mistakes you might see, and someone like me or Caleb.
Okay, I'll show you a Caleb cast. Here's a Caleb cast. Now, what you want is the rod tip to go in a straight line.
Yeah.
You want it.
Almost like a lever
It's hard to do it without casting.
casting.
But you're on the water. You got the line out. Your first one is a big pull back.
Yeah.
And then
Straight line.
you can kind of get the idea.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, it's hard to do it without.
Yeah.
Because it has a completely different feel.
Yeah.
But one of the things I see most folks doing whenever they first get into fly casting from bait casting.
Yeah.
How do you cast with
Right there on your wrist, right there. Yeah.
Well, almost everybody breaks that wrist going back
Yeah.
and forward.
Yeah.
And even if they do start doing this where they're keeping their wrist stiff
Yeah.
up here, when they want to cast far, they're doing fine, everything's looking good, they're looking good, now they want to cast.
What does that do to the lure?
Okay, your rod tip should stop up here.
Yeah.
Okay, it needs to stop in order to, because you have a loop of line.
Yeah.
And your loop of line goes like that.
Yeah.
When you do that, now you've brought that down and it just loops over itself.
Yeah.
And that's when you get the, what we call wind knots.
Yeah.
It really does. It just ties itself into a knot.
Yeah.
I am not the best instructor. I am all self-taught.
Yeah.
So my casting stroke does not work for everyone.
Yeah.
That's why I always tell everybody, go see Kerry.
Yeah, but you get a good premise.
Go see somebody.
Yeah.
I can fix little stuff when
Yeah.
you cast.
Yeah.
When you're on the boat, I can tell you, you're going way too fast.
Yeah.
You know, you're coming back when
Yeah.
you have to let the line go all the way out.
And then.
And then the rod loads. As
Yeah.
the rod loads, now that's when you want to come back forward. Same thing going forward. The rod has to load
Yeah.
in order to do anything. You're using it as a lever. So when you go back and you don't let the line go all the way back,
Yeah.
the line's still going back and now you're already coming
So
forward.
it's just.
You've killed everything. You've killed all the momentum of that line.
Yeah.
Because in fly casting, you're not throwing the lure.
Yeah. You're
not
throwing the line.
Fly, you're throwing the line.
Yeah.
The line has the weight.
Yeah. As long as you have to try to make yourself remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
And when we talk about line weights, you know, a 10 weight or 12 weight or 8 weight, that's the weight of the first 30 feet of line
Okay.
in grains. Now, each rod, there's a standard within the fly.
Yeah, you can see the difference right here. The difference between the line and the leader.
That's
big
thick.
time. Yeah.
This is a 12 weight line.
Yeah.
It's thick, it's heavy, and that 30 feet of that will load a 12 weight rod.
Yeah.
it won't load a 10-weight rod.
Yeah.
That's where it comes in. That 30 feet is measured in grains. The rods are designed to carry that much line
And that's it.
in the air.
Yeah.
As you get better, you can carry more.
Yeah.
Once you get the feel of it, you can carry more. But basically, you're getting that 30 feet of line out, and then you shoot. You've got line stripped off, and line, that's when you see that line shooting out off the deck.
Yeah.
And so that 30 feet is carrying. That's your lure.
Yeah.
That's what carries your cast.
Yeah.
So fly casting is an art.
Yeah.
You got to.
More and more people getting into it. That's why I wanted to do this.
Yeah, there's a lot of. These sawgrass rods. These are all one-piece rods.
Yeah.
Or most of the time, you got four-piece rods.
Yeah.
What it does for the rod, everywhere that there's a ferrule on a four-piece rod.
Yeah.
There's a ferrule here. There's a ferrule here. There's a ferrule there.
Yeah.
Those are, however big that ferrule is a flat spot.
Yeah.
On the bend of the rod.
Yeah.
As it's bending, it can't help it. It's
Yeah.
got that flat spot. But everybody wants a four-piece rod because they travel in 8-foot rods.
Yeah.
So, or 9-foot rods.
Yeah.
This one is 8 foot 10 inches. He does that so he can ship them.
Yeah.
9 feet. Because if you go over 9 feet on shipping,
Yeah.
costs go way up.
Hey, sounds like a plan to me.
You can put it in a 9-foot tube, and it's an 8 foot 10
Yeah.
rod.
Yeah.
But that's where he's making it different.
Yeah.
They're all American made. Blanks, everything is U.S.
He's doing a hell of a good job.
He's doing a really good job with them. And I finally got to cast some of these the other day, outside of just in a parking lot.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
getting out on the water, and it's just so smooth.
Yeah.
Not having those ferrules, you wouldn't think it would make that big a difference.
But for someone who's done it a lot,
I've made thousands and thousands of casts.
yeah.
It was immediately
You
a
could-
feel to it.
Yeah.
Of just a smoothness, the bend.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But when you felt the flex,
Yeah.
it felt good.
Yeah.
You know, not that other rods feel bad by any means.
No, but you
there's
could tell
some
the
good,
difference.
Really nice, expensive rods. But throwing a one-piece rod was different.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it'd be that different.
That's pretty cool, man. This is excellent. All right, we're going to get with Capt Scott here again in just probably a couple of days. I'll throw you another video from Capt Scott. Maybe he's going to surprise us with some of the lures that we're going to talk about. We will do that, and don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, of course, and don't forget to leave some comments, because it's comments that you leave that we get to talk about some of these other questions that you have, whether it's rods, lures, or fishing in general.